We have an amazing show for you this week on Music Life. I've got the amazing Jeremy Kneeshaw, Judy Basso from Basso Events, and all sorts of cool stuff going on, including the birth of the electric guitar. We're going to talk about what makes an electric guitar an electric guitar, and it's going to be an exciting show. So, without further ado, please welcome Jeremy Kneeshaw.
To say is a beautiful start, knowing how to say it is a valiant time. Not to offend and not to insult, to think like a child and speak like an adult. To believe what I'm told and to do what I say. To observe how I act and know that it's okay when I'm told what to think or to not. For I'm time from a time that we nearly forgot. Describe what I hate. Do I have the capacity to demonstrate within the margins of current beliefs, or to fall victim to modern motifs? Well, I love my wife and I love my guitar, I love my truck and I really don't like the car. Simplicity and how we can be, 'cause anything more gets better for me. And I forgot what I'm trying to say. We're finding a way to put in words all the things that I see, talking it through so you know what I mean. What I mean.
Super amazing. I'm very happy on our second show that we've ever done here with Music Life to have my longtime friend and event coordinator in Kamloops, somebody that I've known for a long time, and we've done some cool, crazy events with, Judy Basso from Judy Basso Events with me, and we're just going to chat about this. Maybe not the state of today's events in the music industry, but kind of what we've done and what we hope to do, that kind of a thing. So,
sure.
How are you today, Judy?
I'm doing great. You know, I'm one of these people who looks at the glass half full, so there's always something fun and exciting going on, even in these times. And, you know, there's always ideas percolating, because I am known for having ideas all the time. So
I know it's.
And you and I are always great together, bouncing things like that off of each other.
Earlier on in the show, I said a word. infallible.
Right.
Right. And everybody called me out on it.
Yep.
And I tend to make up words, but you also have your own vocabulary too,
Yes.
like zhuzhing.
Zhuzhing, yeah.
Zhuzhing, which
Yeah.
it needs more zhuzhing. So that's when we're doing like an event.
Or
and,
judging.
yeah. Whenever she makes that kind of a sound, I know, oh, we got to do something.
Yeah, it's got to be zhuzhed. No, we've done a lot of amazing events together over many, like over 25 years or so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember
Yeah.
the first event that we did together. And I just
can't remember.
I think it might
So
have been
many.
one of the Business Excellence Awards with the Chamber of Commerce.
Could be. Yeah.
think
we
it
did
was
a lot of those.
one of those, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what? I have a couple pictures here.
Sure.
Check this one out. Do you remember this one?
Oh, I loved it.
This was one of
loved
my
it.
favorite events that we did. And we brought in this huge backdrop. It looked like a staircase. We made these
Yeah, I
light
brought
up.
that in from Los Angeles, that backdrop.
Right,
Yeah.
it was fantastic. Now,
Yeah.
this room was the theater at the Coast Hotel when they used
Right.
to have the theater.
Right.
And it was the first year that we put this in there.
Yeah.
And I just remember we transformed the room.
Completely. Yeah,
and-
people walked in and their jaws dropped. Oh, well, we do that all the time, though. That's my job. I feel if people walk in the door and go, wow, my job's done.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you know, one of the hardest guys to please, I think, in the world is my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. He's been called the crusty marshmallow before, hard and crusty on the outside. Sorry, and soft and gooey on the inside. 'Cause
Yes.
he's really a sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the ability to hide what he's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one event that you did that was, you know what? I'm going to go forward to it, which was this event right here.
Yeah, the new gold one.
The new gold event. This was in the arena. And there was how many people were at this event?
1,000.
1,000
Yeah.
people.
It was
And
their
what did you do for dinner?
It was their production launch. And we did a whole event on site at New Gold till 3 o'clock. And then we did dinner for all these staff and their spouses or whatever.
Fireworks show too. I remember
Fireworks
that.
all in one day.
Yeah.
Like that was the biggest event of my career for this, like all in one day. It was
Right.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
We had
and now, so-
thousands of people we brought outside.
On
But
site, we had a viewing platform looking over the mining
Yeah,
area
yeah.
that we built. We had outdoor LED video walls.
yeah, instead of doing a ribbon cutting ceremony,
Yes.
should we talk about that now?
We'll talk.
We'll get
I
to
got
later.
that coming up a little bit
Okay.
later. Yeah.
But yeah, we did. We set up this dinner for 1,000 people in the arena, and we served a phenomenal prime rib dinner.
So this brings me back to my dad.
Dad, exactly.
Who rants and raves about the prime rib dinner that you serve there. Now, prime rib dinner is hard enough alone,
Yeah.
just in a restaurant, kind of one-off, to make my dad be like, "That was amazing."
Yeah.
Let alone doing it for 1,000
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So just the timing of it, and I know we had rehearsals. We had. It
was a big event.
You had done this whole thing to a T without it feeling over engineered. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like as an event coordinator,
Yeah, that's the way
it's
it's
very
supposed
easy.
to feel. Yeah,
That's right.
They don't need to. They don't need to know all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
We had Jim Cuddy playing for that.
Yeah, we totally did. Yeah, I remember
we had Jim
that
Cuddy
too.
there, and he got on the stage and he looks around. He goes, "Wow! I thought I was coming to sing in this stinky old hockey arena. This is beautiful. This is amazing." I was like, "Wow, this is great coming from him." I mean, he's been a lot of places, so
Right.
that was pretty cool. But yeah, Romeo did an amazing job on that dinner. It was, you know, he had to cook it off site, transport it, hold it, and serve it, and it was outstanding. So, you know, kudos to him too. They did an amazing job with that.
Yeah, so that was a huge job, and I really enjoyed that. That was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. But this job was also kind of cool too, because this is a job that celebrates the arts.
Yes, Mayor's Gala for the Arts.
And so you were a driving force behind a lot of that.
I've done all of them. Yep.
And, you know, we've been involved with a lot of them as well. And what I like is sometimes, you know, a room set up, it's always on the east wall you set up, and screen here, some zhuzhing here,
Yeah.
and lights, and go. Cookie cutter, next. But you're like,
No.
no. Let's turn the room around and make people look the other direction
Yeah.
and come in from the other way.
I always like to do things differently.
Yeah, I think we even made a tunnel going into a room that was set up like a forest.
Yep. That was for another one.
for another award
You
show,
worked
too.
on all of my Mayor's Gala for the Arts with me.
Yeah.
all of them.
And you know, it's amazing because that is where the mayor actually gives awards for community service for artists, all that kind of stuff, which is a pretty amazing thing.
That year it was the Copacabana.
Theme.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I have another. Yeah, this is another mayor of the arts. Totally different. Like if I just switch between the two, totally different feels and looks.
And this stage was off in the corner diagonally, and the other one was on what would be the back wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really quite nice too, because we'd always have fantastic entertainment, because not only is it with the arts, you were working with the art gallery at the time. We also had the
Symphony.
Symphony, thank you.
The theater.
And the theater, like all the arts coming together, and everybody collaborated to put on this amazing show.
Yeah. It was kind of challenging, especially in the beginning, because everybody had their way of doing things, like you said. Mm-hmm. But once we kind of got into the rhythm of who does what, we believe that let's let the people do what they do well, continue to do that.
Right.
And so, we kind of got into a rhythm of it. And I felt really bad this year that they didn't do it, but, that's the way it goes. But hopefully it continues into the future, because it was a really great event and really a great way to showcase the arts, because how can you have, a community without the arts? You know, I mean, I remember this great quote by Churchill. In World War II, they were saying, let's cut the arts. They're trying to save money because of the war. And he said, if we cut the arts, what are we fighting for? Like, right. I mean, it's just such an important part of the community, and it's, everywhere we look, right? So,
we feel that we're obviously a little bit biased towards the music side.
Of course.
But you're absolutely right. It's culture. It's people being able to express themselves how they want, and that
and it's what makes our lives rich. I mean, everybody watches TV. That's an art. Mm-hmm. They watch movies. They listen to music. They enjoy art on the walls. I mean, it's very layered and very exciting.
Do you think with the pandemic that we have going on right now, that art's going to come back in a huge way?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel it. I know in the music industry, with our guitar company, Riversong, with Fender, with Gibson, they're all reporting the biggest years that they've ever had. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole welling of energy, people writing music, releasing albums from home, getting ready, and anticipating being able to come out and do what they love, which is, in a lot of cases, perform. So we think that there's going to be a huge eruption of local music, of grassroots kind of a thing going on.
You know what? Mike and I have been brainstorming about what's going to happen after the pandemic, and we've decided we've already started working on an after party, after pandemic party.
A huge party, celebrating
huge. It's
music,
going to be a huge
celebrating Kamloops, celebrating
people,
everything
freedom,
that we missed. Being
with your friends and family. And look at all these people. They're going, yeah, this is great. So we're working on it now. We're putting in all of the components that we want to have happen with it. But all we have to do is add a date in. Once everything is clear and safe to go.
My dad has a saying. He says, to be lucky, you have to be prepared to meet the opportunity.
Absolutely. That's a great saying.
We're talking about getting prepared.
Yeah.
So when the opportunity opens up, we just plug in the date. Yep. And we're prepared for if it opens up in the winter or if it opens up in the spring. Yep. To do something that's safe, comfortable, and just a celebration.
Yeah. And it's going to be a great time. So stay tuned for more details on that.
You're pretty excited.
I am.
I think there was some thoughts, and it reminded me of the show that we did here. You also arranged fireworks for this too, and it was all yellow and white fireworks.
Yep, so
because of
silver
New
and
Gold.
Yeah. It was really interesting. The next day, I went for a pedicure, and I was sitting there in the back area, and I heard these ladies talking up at the front, going, "Did you see the fireworks last night? They were so spectacular. What were they for?" And somebody says, "Oh, I just know that it had something to do with Judy Basso. I just know it." I was way in that corner, and I was like, "Yeah, that was me."
Well, so in my career as an event guy, like you're event coordinator, I'm the guy that makes things louder, brighter, and bigger with our audiovisual company. Yep. We did something really cool also with this event, and it was a highlight of my career, and it was this.
Yeah.
Right? Front page of the Daily News.
Yep.
And they had a plunger, and they
Yep.
wanted to.
Instead of doing a ribbon cutting,
Yeah,
Mike
dude.
goes, no, let's do something bigger and better.
Yeah, New Gold's going to be open, and they had a plunger like you would when you do that thing.
The old-fashioned way, like in
And
Bugs
they were like,
Bunny.
"Can you put sound and make it go through the sound system?" I was like, "I think we can do it better." And I convinced them to. I think it was like 1,500 liters of gas and diesel. And we hired Never a Dull Moment to help us, got the fire department involved. The logistics of this were weeks in the making.
Yep.
And when they pushed down that plunger, I know the media was there, and we had it just off to the other side. And I told the camera guy, I said, "No, don't point there. Point your camera there, go wide, and make sure it's ready for something bright."
Yeah.
And the black cloud that came out of that,
Yeah.
actually, I felt like Mr. Burns from Simpsons,
Yeah.
and I blocked out the sun.
Well, just
and,
about.
And one of the things that I really appreciate with working with you is that there are no limits.
Yeah.
If we're creative, we have an
Safe.
idea, a budget, we're safe.
Yeah.
We can really do some really
Yeah.
amazing things.
Oh, I'm always about pushing the envelope, making it fun and exciting and different each time. I do not do the same thing twice,
Yeah.
and neither do you.
No,
So,
it does, my ADD doesn't allow me to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased that we have you in our community and that we can do such cool things. Is there anything else that's on your mind that you're thinking about?
Well, I'm just excited to get back into the swing of things, and it'd be interesting to see what's going to be happening next. There's a whole bunch of different opportunities that are out there, but we just have to be ready, like you said. And
What
now's
about
the
the?
time.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just realized, and the whole purpose of this is casual and nice and easy going, but the wine festival.
Yeah.
You do the wine festival,
Yeah.
and some of the funnest parties that I've worked at but not been involved with have been the wine festival.
Yeah.
Just because I've always wanted to go just as a guest.
Yeah, me too.
This this year you did it a little different. You did virtual wine festival.
Yeah.
But what's going on with the wine festival?
So the wine festival is the Kamloops Wine Festival has been going on for 22 years, and I've been running it for the last 15, 16, something like that. So last year, when we had some time between the summer and fall, we had these dinners up at Romeo's that people could either come in and enjoy within their bubble with 6 people, or have food delivered to their homes. And then we did an interaction with Facebook with people during the event as well. So it was really interesting. People were kind of like, "What? How do we do this?" And it was a little bit awkward because it's something new for all of us,
Totally new,
including
yeah.
me, right? So we tried it for a couple of times, and then everything kind of got shut down again. So, but when the wine festival does come back, it's going to be bigger and better than ever. In fact, we're going to be even incorporating some of that into our big comeback party. I don't know.
Comeback party?
We have to come up with some names. Maybe we should
Okay, so
have a
email
contest or something. Yeah.
Mike@riversongguitars.com or
ShayBassoEvents@gmail.com.
Your ideas for end of the pandemic party
Yeah.
names.
And even ideas for things to do.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
It's
have
going to be a
great
community
contest.
thing.
Yeah.
I think it'll be really great.
Yeah,
So,
we'd love to hear from you. That would be wonderful. for
Judy,
sure.
it's always a pleasure to hang out, to chat. We're both Italian,
Yes.
so I know we're related somehow.
Somehow we always are.
Yeah, my mom's always like, "Mike, you need to find a nice Italian girl." This one. And then she goes, "We're related," like, ah. But I appreciate having you. I appreciate having you organize things and including myself and our company. And I look forward to doing lots of really cool, amazing things in the future. So thanks for coming out
Thank you
to
so much,
Music
Mike.
Life.
Well, the feeling's mutual. I always say I can't do an event without you guys. So
Aw.
I appreciate it. You guys you're excellent to work with, and we create some magic. We really do.
I called you the Dream Imagineer.
I saw that. I love that. I love that.
Up next on Music Life, we have some pretty amazing things going on. Jeremy Kneeshaw, we're going to have an interview with him, but we're also going to talk about the birth of the electric guitar. I've got some cool stuff to show you because we are, of course, filming this from the floor of our family's music store, Lee's Music, and we got some really cool stuff to share with you, including all the stuff that's on the ceiling. But this week, it's going to be about the birth of the electric guitar. Last week, it was the 1920s, and we were talking about guitar, and we're talking about the music that was going on in the guitar world and how it was just an accompaniment instrument, and we were trying to get it to be louder with the groups, with horns and that kind of thing. So the invention of the Resonator guitar was born. This was 1927. This is one of the patent pending ones that we have. We talked about it last week lots. And the whole idea was that it vibrated so that it's got a cone in, like a speaker. It vibrated and was louder so you could keep up with the bands and mic it without having feedback as bad and all that kind of stuff. And this was going really great. But something happened. And it was the birth of the electric guitar. Guitar. That came along in about 1934 is the first patent that I could find on the electric guitar. Actually, I guess it was 37. I lied. 34, 37, 3 years. They're probably working on it since 34. But this is the very first electric guitar, the Rickenbacker Electro. And essentially that changed everything for the guitar. In a period where we were mechanically trying to make bigger and boxes and louder guitars by going to steel and metal, something that happened was the coil magnetic pickup, which is a real simple device. You can see this is actually the first solid body electric guitar. Somewhere I've got an early Rickenbacker Electro built out of an acoustic guitar. But essentially what ended up happening was instead of using a microphone, which has a propensity to feed back, guitar players now had this new tool in their toolbox. And everybody was trying to figure out how to make it bigger and better. Simple construction of a electric pickup we can bring down to something like this. This is courtesy of Seymour Duncan pickups, who make amazing pickups. There's a coil of wire called the bobbin or the coil, and it goes around these slugs in here, which are either magnetic themselves, made out of alnico magnets, or just steel with the ceramic magnet underneath. And basically this goes close to the strings, and when the metal and the strings move back and forth, it senses the metal going through the flux lines and inducts a change in voltage in the pickup, which creates a sound. So all of a sudden, we had something that was quite different sounding, and it was feedback free essentially. And that changed everything for the guitar. And it came in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. So I've got the Mike Miltimore tickle trunk here, which I hope you enjoy. This is actually from a 1940s Hammond organ. And inside here, I've got some amazing things. This is a Lawler pickup, which we use on some of our custom River Song guitars. And the thing with the Lawler pickups is that they're very true to the original pickups. So if you want something that's really vintage sounding and much like the early Strats or early Tellys in this particular case, this is a great pickup to go with. It's got the coil of wire and it's also being potted, which means that they soak it in paraffin wax so that those coils can't vibrate. Because that vibrating can also cause sympathetic oscillation, which is like feedback, and create problems with the sound. And over time, there's been all sorts of things that have happened to the pickup. Here's one from Seymour Duncan. And this is kind of a cool pickup. You can see it's similar in size and shape, but it's got little screws in the top, and these are adjustable pole pieces. And the other thing that's really interesting with the Seymour Duncan pickup in this particular one is it's actually got two different coils side by side, and it creates something that we call hum canceling, or the humbucker pickup. One of the things that you find when you're dealing with single coil pickups, like what's on my 1961 Gibson ES330 TD, and I'll just plug this in. Can you hear that hum? It doesn't know the words. But that's because these are single coils of wire, and when they're out of balance, when they're out of balance, you can hear them hum and buzz. And if we put them both in, we get a gain in volume. And they sound really great, but there was always this hum that happened. And when we put distortion on, it got worse and worse. So then they developed the humbucking pickup. And the humbucking pickup simply was 2 coils side by side, except one coil, instead of going this direction, it went the other direction. And those 2 coils would cancel each other out. They'd wire them reverse so that they'd add to the sound instead of take away from each other from the sound you want to pick up, which is the guitar. But it would give you a hum canceling sound, so you get more distortion without the hum and the buzz. So Seymour Duncan made this pickup, which would fit into a regular single coil slot, and it was a very cool little thing right there. In my tickle trunk, we also have things like these. These are Fender custom noiseless pickups. And instead of being side-by-side coils, they've got stacked coils. So there's a coil on the top, a coil on the bottom. It cancels each other out, but still maintains that original single coil sound, that twang, that thing that sparkled that made early Fender guitars famous. So this particular one is very cool. It doesn't have adjustable pull pieces, but it is a very good sounding pickup. It's what we put in stock in some of our guitars that we build, which I'll show you here in just a second. And each pickup, each design has a different sound and a different place. What I really enjoy is back in time when they were inventing the pickup and creating the very first styles like this right here, everybody was trying to come up with their own. This is actually, the magnet is actually in like a horseshoe magnet kind of style with the north and south poles, which they realized afterwards you don't actually need to have that secondary piece over top anymore. So it's kind of neat, the evolution, the shape, the size of the pickups. Here's another pickup design which is kind of neat. This is the dual blade pickup. This is a humbucking pickup as well, 2 coils side by side, but a blade, so that when you're bending your strings, you're not going in and out of the sweet spot of the pickup, and it's all sweet on there kind of a thing. But it again has a different tone. So depending on what you're after, you can get all sorts of different sounds, and technologies are really cool too. I'm going to unplug this guitar, and we're going to go back to these pickups here. This is our T2, which is pretty cool. It's got a torrefied alder body, torrefied maple neck, maple fretboard, but it's got the Fender Custom Shop noiseless pickups in them, and they have quite a different sounds to them depending on where you put them. So if you notice on all the guitars, you have some that are parallel like that. You've got some that are off angles, and depending on what the guitar is, you get different sounds. So for example, if I'm playing the T2, I'm all the way forward with the switch, which is my neck pickup. All the way forward, and if I switch between the neck, the center, and the bridge, I get totally different sounds compared to, or mixed together. So very, very cool sounds, jangly, get all sorts of different tonalities depending on the position of the pickup. As you move the pickup further along, there's harmonic spots that you get, and it gets bassier as you go further forward, which is something that's what makes guitars unique and different, which I really like. So that's a T2 with some classic pickups. I played you the P90s. This is a different style of pickup. It's flatter. The coils are much wider. It's a very nice sounding pickup, very bluesy sounding pickup. These guys here, this is a Gretsch Chet Atkins Country Gentleman guitar. Again, different sounds. And on this particular guitar, it's actually a hollow body. So all these things come into play to make the guitar sound a little bit different depending on what you're after. Love it. Okay, so this is a Gretsch Chet Atkins Country Gentleman. And you can see on these pickups, they actually have adjustable pull pieces on them. So you can get different tones from that as well and balance the sound of the strings. The magnetic part of the strings that actually creates the sound is the steel core, which is kind of neat for creating a sound. So that means that you get different gauges of strings. So like the B string is 0.012 or 0.009, depending on what gauge you use, electric or acoustic. But that's 9/1000ths of an inch. But the B string would be 11/1000ths of an inch. So there's more mass there, so you need to be able to balance that out. This is a really cool little guitar. This is a custom shop guitar I built about a year ago for the NAMM show. Beautiful, beautiful. I love. This is flame maple, torrefied flame maple from Chilliwack. I call it Chilaquian maple. But anyways, I put some really cool pickups on this guitar, and I thought it was worthy to share with you because the pickups, unlike traditional guitar pickups which use a coil of wire, their coil is a lot different. So this is a single coil pickup. It's actually hum canceling, and you can see this is the actual coil. That coil is more like a solenoid, how you make a solenoid, and that's and the ceramic magnets are up in here, and that's what creates a sound. So this is considered a low impedance pickup. It's got a very wide bandwidth. It doesn't have like a really peaky, harsh, sharp sound, but it's very balanced. And can put out a lot too. So there's a lot of guys that endorse these pickups that are metalheads, and they're also jazz heads. So it's amazing, a wide pickup on this particular guy. But it sounds different. And that's what really leads the whole music industry, is sounds and what really aspires to you. So if you're into jazz, you're into a certain sound, or you're creating your groove like we heard with Jeremy Kneeshaw earlier on, a pickup can really change the response of your guitar. I have another guitar I'd like to share with you. Speaking of pickup technology, let me awkwardly put this one back. And that's this guitar right here. This is one of our stage guitars, and it's got some really cool pickup technology into it. We're going to get into later on acoustic guitar pickups, how they differ from electric guitar pickups, because it's quite a different sound that you're after. But there's a magnetic pickup in this guitar, and there's a separate coil of wire for each string to pick up the sounds. And it's got a cool special purpose on it. I'm just going to grab this guy and turn down the volume. This is an active pickup, so it has batteries in it. So this is acoustic guitars sound more natural, bright, less MIDI, if you will. And this one's actually got a built-in microphone for those guys that like to slap around and beat their guitars. But what I wanted to show you on this guitar is that hex pickup is attached to a very special processor built into this guitar. And that processor takes each one of these strings and converts it into its own MIDI note. It's got a Fishman triple play pickup system in it, and then goes straight into, I use an iPhone on this, but you can also use an iPad or a computer, and you can get all sorts of different sounds out of it. So what I'm just going to do really quick is just resync this guy up. Pick some of my favorite sounds here. What's cool is you can get all sorts of different sounds out of this guy, like this sound. right? So now all of a sudden this pickup allows you to bridge that gap between produced music and played music. So as a songwriter, you know, I love that kind of stuff. This control is actually a digital encoder, and you can move up and down. So these are sounds that previously weren't available as a guitar player. So what I'm trying to say is pickup technology has come a long ways. Right from the very beginning, pickups like we see with the Rickenbacker Electro, all the way to something as high-tech as this, which creates your guitar into a 6-synthesizer instrument. And that leads a lot of innovation. And that was the birth of the electric guitar, starting off from something just to make it louder to creating its own genre of music with Jimi Hendrix to Mike Miltimore and Jeremy Kneeshaw. This is the exciting part about guitars, and that's what I love about music life, is having really cool stories to talk about and share. There's times in life where you meet somebody and you're like, wow, this guy's going to do great things. And I felt that the first time I met Jeremy as a little kid. I want to say, taking lessons with our lesson school here. He took drum lessons and later guitar lessons, and just watching him grow up from, can I say snot-nosed little kid to
yeah, I guess.
to musician, which is really great. Jeremy Kneeshaw I've known for many, many years now. His dad has been a longtime customer as well and is a fantastic player in his own right. But Jeremy kind of blossomed onto the scene just a few years ago, playing blues guitar and doing things that are way beyond his years on guitar. And I'm excited to have him in our Kamloops community as musicians, and I'm excited, if you haven't seen Jeremy, to introduce you to Jeremy Kneeshaw. Jeremy, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Yeah, surviving the pandemic so far.
Yeah, you've had a lot going on in the last year, a lot of life changes.
Yes, well, yeah, we got married and bought a house, and then COVID hit, and in the meantime, I built a studio in my house, and so I've been running that since, having clients in when the restrictions allow it, but
Yeah.
I mean, as of right now, we're fully ready and fully operational for when the restrictions lift, so.
Perfect. I've got some songs I've been working on, and I was
Good.
hoping that you might be able to play, sing on it for me.
I'd love to. I'd love to. Yes.
You know, when I got married, which was 21 years ago almost, actually,
Oh, congratulations.
For me, it was a huge congratulations. For my wife, they were like, I'm not sure what she sees, but it's
Yeah.
okay. I tried to write a song for my wife, Monica, and I realized at that point that I'm not creative in that way. And it got so bad that right before the wedding, I was still trying to write something, and I ended up going, M is for magnificent, O is for omnidiferous,
Wow.
it was just
Nice.
like brutal. And I never ended up doing something, but tell me what you're on your third album now, or fourth album.
I'm working on my fourth, yeah.
Yeah, but you also had a Christmas album in between too.
Yeah.
So really, this is your fifth album?
Sixth, actually, I
Sixth,
suppose.
technically.
I think, yeah. I did a cover album actually a couple of years ago with my friend Chris Rustin too, and the Christmas album was just hilarious. Like, because I was recording it in like July, and it's like 35 degrees out, singing "Let It Snow" and whatever.
Let it snow.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? Oh man, this is going to be like awesome. This will carry me through winter.
Yeah, yeah, pretty well. Like it's kind of almost like an audition tape because I record all the instruments and vocals myself. So
Yeah.
when I try to do as many different genres as I can, like swing or piano jazz or ragtime or blues or whatever, I try to, you can give that to somebody and say, this is what I can do if you want me to record for you. So
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
partly selfish as well, but I also love Christmas music. So
That's right. Yeah. Your third album you just released in the summer.
yeah, July. or
Yeah.
June, sorry, actually.
And you had some radio play locally, which I think they should play again some more.
I agree. I've been hoping so. Yeah.
So what was the song they were playing so that our fans can request the song on what stations?
It was on 98.3, and it was the Subway Fresh Track feature for a week in July, and it was called You Know What I Mean.
You know what I mean. So if you're thinking about it, phone up 98.3 and say, hey, play You Know What I Mean by Jeremy Kneeshaw, and let's get him some traction on the radio again. That'd be fun, eh?
That'd be wonderful. Yes.
The first song you sang today, what is the song about?
That song it's kind of my commentary on how to have a commentary, I suppose. Like we live in sort of a tricky time where there's a lot of tensions about politics and religion and education or whatever, legalization of weed, whatever. There's a lot of different things, and it's really hard to kind of look through all of that and figure out what you believe and what you stand for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even more difficult to be able to try to explain it to somebody without offending them or starting a fight or hurting their feelings or whatever. And I think it's kind of such a gray area, and so a lot of the times when I'm like digging myself a deeper hole trying to explain a concept that somebody's not getting, I just you cop out and you say, you know what I mean, and that was the inspiration for the song for me.
So as a lyricist, you're writing a song about meaning and things that are important to you. Do you also do poetry as well?
Not as much, ironically. Like, I think you can get away with cheesier rhymes if you sing it nicely than if you are saying it, because the poems I write, I tried, but they always wind up kind of Dr. Seuss-y, and it's not quite the vibe I'm trying to go for. So
I think that's a great way of putting what I was trying to do for my wife.
Right.
A Dr. Seuss song.
I mean, someone will appreciate it, I'm sure. So,
Yeah. So, okay, tell me about the song that you're going to play.
This is an upcoming track from the fourth album. It's called Heart to Heart, and it's kind of working through, lyrically working through different self-consciousness that you get when you're a married couple and the husband puts on a few pounds and grows long hair. So
Yeah, I think we've all done a little bit of that. I call it weightlifting.
yeah. Of course.
All right, well,
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
Jeremy Kneeshaw, yes.
Deep in the corners of my mind lay the places you've not been. Way down deep beneath the light, you run the risk of falling in. And I can't go back there again. You got away with words, saying everything's alright, till it all comes crashing through in the middle of the night. And you know the lids are on too tight. You gotta play the hand you dealt and be real without effort. One day we can pick apart. We must see it heart to heart. I've been in trouble a few times for the things that I have said. Always trying to tame the beast that runs rampant in my head. And I should listen more instead. You feel lonesome in your mind when there's no one left around to hear the prosecutor's heart when the verdict has been found. And you know you got the higher ground. You gotta play the hand you dealt and be real without effort. One day we can pick apart. We must sin heart to heart. gotta play the hand you dealt and be real with how it felt. One day we can pick apart. We must stand heart to heart.
Thank you.